yet discovered the secrets of how to get the best value. Please help me welcome Brian, Maximizing the Power of Toastmasters. Maximizing the Power of Toastmasters, Brian.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Can everyone hear me? Excellent. So we have got a special segment for you tonight. And no, you don't have to or get to listen to me for 40 minutes or 35 minutes. In fact, what you get instead is you get a collection of energized Toastmasters who are going to talk about their thoughts and their experience on how to maximize the value and the power of Toastmasters. So if we back up for just a second, I think we all know, or most of us know, that Toastmasters, the program, is a very powerful tool to become a better speaker and a better leader. It involves hands-on learning and an experiential approach that literally works for millions of people around the world and has done so for many, many years. That is undisputable. The program works well and is very effective. But in spite of that, it can be a little bewildering at first for people that are new to Toastmasters, and maybe those members are hesitant to participate. A few never make it past those first steps to start to unleash the power of Toastmasters. So it's for that reason that we picked the topic of tonight's panel session. To learn from 4 dynamic and motivated Toastmasters, and specifically about their experience and advice on how to unleash, how to get the best power out of Toastmasters. So we're lucky to have those 4 panelists tonight, and I'm going to ask them a series of questions. Now, I've asked that each of the panelists, we've got 4 questions in total, and I've asked that each of those 4 panelists who are beginning to show on your screen will answer 2 of the questions. So 4 questions, 8 answers. And then after that, we're going to spend a few minutes, as long as we have time left, to take questions from the audience. Our SAA is busy highlighting the panelists as well as our timer. And thank you for doing so, Abbas. It is appreciated. But the first thing I want to do is I want to introduce our panelists. And I am literally going to read the introductions that they provided, because the introductions are rather interesting. There's no way I could have memorized that. Our first panelist, Mark Poole. And Mark notes, when I joined Toastmasters, I was a businessman who had enjoyed several significant leadership roles, including 2 expat leadership assignments in Mexico and Australia. Of course, I had given many speeches in many environments, including large sales conferences attended by hundreds. I always considered myself a competent speaker. He says, except for 2 speeches that he did in Spanish that were disasters. Nice, Mark. But he was also aware that he never knocked it out of the park. And he wanted a place where he could learn the skills to be a better speaker and have the opportunity to continually hone through practice. And that's how he ended up at Toastmasters and has now become an important part of his life. Well, Mark is now a distinguished Toastmaster, known for his wit, his business insights, and his uncanny ability to get to the heart of the issue. And I can absolutely guarantee you there have been a few speeches at least where he has knocked it out of the park. Welcome, Mark. Just glad to have you here. Our second panelist this evening, Gurkaran Koshar, often known as Gurks. And Gurks, actually, that's why he started it. Gurkaran, often referred to as Gurks, has been a member of Confidently Speaking for just over 2 years now, and is currently pursuing level 4 of the Persuasive Influence Pathway. He served as SAA in the past and is currently VP of Public Relations for the club. Gurkaran is an engineer by profession, currently working as a quality professional in a pharmaceutical manufacturer. And other than public speaking, he enjoys volunteer work, biking through nature trails, and learning about technology. And you can bet your bottom dollar that Gurks is a very motivated and highly participative Toastmaster. He is here pretty much every week, and he's always involved. Amal Henry Abdel Sayed. Amal's given me the longest intro, but it's actually one of the coolest. Amal is an ambitious lady who strongly believes where there's a will, there's a way. She's a Pharaoh descendant who loved visiting ancient monuments and civilization's history all around the world. She works as a construction risk manager, turning the possibility of a few conceptual drawings into reality of a completely executed project with an approved time, schedule, quality, safety, and budget. Once the project gets approved by the owner, she'd start the tendering process to solicit trade packages, evaluate bids, confirm scope of works, award subcontractors packages. Her projects, she calls them her babies, can vary from residential condo buildings, retail revitalization, seniors' homes, office buildings, to complicated water treatment plants or petrochemical production facilities. She joined Confidently Speaking back in June 2019 to enhance her communication and presentation skills. And she wasn't really an active member until she got her mentor, which happens to be me. Thank you. I challenged her, as she said during her speech, to complete level 2 of visionary communication in 6 months duration. She bought into the idea and made it her goal. Her speech tonight marks the completion of level 2 of visionary communication, and I applaud you, Amal, on that tremendous achievement. Well done. And our fourth participant, our fourth panelist tonight, Bob Jung. Bob is a sales and marketing professional with over 30 years of Canadian experience. He's worked in a variety of capacities covering manufacturing and distribution of medical supplies and equipment. He's discovered that you are never too old to develop your communication skills. This led him to discover Toastmasters, which he joined over 3 years ago. This has given him additional opportunities to improve public speaking skills and think spontaneously. Bob is a strategic sales leader, a prolific networker, and a Chicago Cubs fan, I do believe, Bob. So please, a round of applause to start for our panelists this evening. Welcome all. So we will jump in and we're going to share our insights. I'm going to pose the first question to both Amal and Mark. We'll start maybe with Amal. And here's the question for you, and I'm asking each speaker for each question to take 1 to 2 minutes. If you're going over, just please very little over, and we'll stay on track and we'll finish all our questions. So, Amal, what are your tips for new members to get the most out of Toastmasters?
I will start my negative one first, then go to the positive. As you just said, I joined more than 2 years ago. I was very motivated when it was in person. I probably attended 2 or 3 meetings. I'll just claim that, as usual, I am workaholic and I didn't have the time to attend. When it became all virtual, I lost all interest. And I felt it's even much more burden on me to do it. When I got the survey and I filled it, and thank you, Brian, you followed up with me a couple of times. This is when I realized, wait a minute, this is exactly the same I should be doing in my job. So if I am after a promotion, I have to consider this job one for me. Set my own goals. Brian, thanks for challenging me with the first goal. Don't give me another hard one, but I'll try my best. So first thing is set your goals. The sooner you get into your icebreaker, the better it is. The statement positions are taken, not given, is everywhere in our life. You just need to be determined. You feel the importance of it, it's definitely important. You need to enhance your skills. You are the only one responsible for your own accomplishment. Just go do it. Start with small roles. Don't go big at once. Maybe work on your icebreaker. Meanwhile, if you need few weeks for your icebreaker, get small roles here and on there. There are some roles that you do not need at all to prepare for it, except very minor preparation. Table topic is a wonderful impromptu talk that you can do it. We're all here to have each other back, to encourage each other. If I have an accent, excuse me, who cares? We all come from different culture, from different environment, and we're all here for a reason. just little torches to lead us all down the road. So these are my main two advices: is set a goal, get into your icebreakers, get as much as you can roles within the club. Each and every role you will learn something out of it, whether for the club itself or for yourself. Just don't sit back, don't close your camera. You will lose us if you close your camera. You wouldn't be interested to just listen and watch. You want to be seen too. Thank you.
You all. And Mark, can I ask you the same question? What are your tips for new members to get the most out of Toastmasters? And you're on mute, Mark. There we go. Pause for breath and we're good.
First thing is don't be on mute when you're speaking at Toastmasters. No, I think that I'm all covered a lot of it, but I guess what really strikes me as odd at many Toastmaster meetings is how many times I see people who don't speak at all through an entire 2.5 hour meeting. It's much more regular than you think. If you're not a guest and you don't have a role, there's a good chance you're not going to say anything. And to me, that's just a waste. So don't ever give up the opportunity to speak at a Toastmaster meeting. If you don't have a role, get onto table topics, but you need to take advantage of this forum as a chance to develop your speaking skills. And I'd like to say that I think that getting in on the easier roles is definitely the way to start. That's how you get your feet wet. But there are really good roles in meetings that develop your speaking skills that are not speeches. Roles like general evaluator or Toastmaster, those roles really help develop your extemporaneous speaking skills. And as a result, you are developing skills that are important in business. So I would definitely say don't shy away from those bigger media roles. Now, a role I really like is evaluator, because that's really developing a small speech, a speech that has to be delivered in 3 minutes, very succinctly. So it develops your speaking skills. It develops your feedback skills, again, very important in business, but it also develops your ability to develop a speech very quickly. You have very limited time to come up with a good, coherent speech. So I really like the evaluator role as well. So not just the small roles, do the bigger roles as well to get the most out of Toastmasters.
Thank you, Mark. So let us turn to question number 2 now. And question number 2 is, how do you go about setting goals? And we're going to ask Gerks to start off on this one, if you would, Gerks. How do you go about setting realistic goals?
So can you hear me, everybody? Just a thumbs up. Perfect. So Brian just asked, how do you set goals? So the first thing you want to do is to set goals for yourself is to know what you want to work on. Toastmasters is great for that. So there's a variety of things you can work on, whether, as Mark just mentioned, whether that be impromptu speaking, whether that be kind of having a page in front of you and preparing yourself with that page and using that to your advantage. Basically, the way I see it, setting goals is it's unrealistic to say to yourself that I'm going to go and do a prepared speech every single week for 2 reasons. First one being that you don't have the time to be sitting down and practicing your speech to prepare it every week. Secondly, there's so many other skills that you can learn within the club. So to set a goal, what you want to do is space yourself. So you can see within a month and 2 months how many speeches you're able to do and kind of time that. So over 6 months, over a year. We have a live representative right here with us. So like Amal, she said she wanted to do level 2 by a certain time. And, you know, have some leeway in there, have a little bit of time in there, and make sure to accomplish that goal and make sure it's equally space it out. That would be the only advice I can give to you. First one being to make sure you equally space it out. Secondly, to take advantage of the other things, whether that be table topics, whether that be evaluator, whether that be chair role, whether that be general evaluator, because it doesn't just stop at prepared speeches, right? That's what we walk in thinking it does. There's so much more to it. Evaluations, table topics, these things are things that we use every single day. We might not realize it. And we want to make sure to take the maximum benefit out of it from Toastmasters.